Welcome to Your Health Today. I'm your host, Bev Muendel-Atherstone, and I'm the chair of your Lethbridge chapter of Friends of Medicare, which is a non-profit organization that works to ensure our public healthcare system is there for all of us. Over the past few decades, American-style healthcare corporations have had their eyes on Canada's healthcare system. These private healthcare companies and their henchmen, Big Health Insurance, see the potential for a lucrative private healthcare market in Canada. We are watching the increasing encroachment of private companies who provide medical services, which are paid from the public purse, taking funds, resources, and medical professionals from our public system and putting them into private hands. Private surgery centers, which can pick up the simple cases, are leaving the more complex patients for public care facilities. In a time of acute shortages of doctors and nurses, in particular anesthetists, this results in longer wait times for public facilities, while funds are siphoned off by private care. I will present a wide variety of topics through the eyes and experiences of your friends and neighbors. We will hear the stories of local residents who have had joint replacements, those who deal with debilitating mental illnesses, and those who are battling illnesses and barriers to their disabilities. The purpose of this series is to increase awareness of the range of issues confronted by our public healthcare system and the types of obstacles placed before those who work within it. Today, we welcome our guest, Judy Hoglund. Welcome, Judy. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Bev.
Really appreciate it. So, Judy, have you lived long in this area?
Southern Alberta, yes. Lethbridge, my husband and I retired here 21 years ago.
21 years ago. Mm-hmm. So you really feel this is home now?
Yes.
That's lovely. And Judy, you've just had an operation on your shoulder.
Yes.
And can you describe when you first noticed that something was different about your shoulder?
Oh dear. That was a long time ago. I'd say it started when I was in my 40s, which would be over 35 years ago. I had a young girl crashed into me on the ski hill, and I dislocated my shoulder. Oh. And I thought I was okay, and then I went to get up and I fell forward, and what's that? And so I did it again, and then I felt to see why I fell, and my shoulder wasn't in the socket.
Oh, it was dislocated.
Dislocated, yeah. So, but anyways, I got it back in, and I went to a therapist afterwards, and she said just to keep it in a sling, but to keep it moving a little bit. And anyways, I just have had shoulder issues since then. And then probably 20 years later, we bought a farm near Granham. And I wanted to, it had no yard or anything, and so I'm working feverishly to get this yard all set up. And we'd had some students come in from the school, and they were all getting up on this flat deck trailer. You know, they put their hands on and jump in, and so put my hands on, go to jump in. I'm not as young as them. And I really tore things. I could hear it. And so it was very sore.
Oh, so that must have been very painful, tearing things.
Well, at the time, yeah. And then over the years, I've just had shoulder problems. I've had all kinds of treatments on it. Laser, ultrasound. The one treatment that really worked well was prolotherapy.
What is that?
And a lot of people don't know what that is.
No.
It was medical sports doctors in Lethbridge did that. And I had a massage therapist who recommended me. And they stick a needle in the joint, and it's quite a big needle, and then they work it. That was painful. But they create another injury, is what they told me.
Oh.
And then your body sends out the healing forces and heals it.
To that spot?
Yeah. I didn't want to go because at the time I was 58. Oh, yeah. And I thought, that's not going to work after I've had this so long. But she wanted me to go, and I said, okay, I'll go. And I was amazed. After about 5 treatments, that really, really helped. Really helped. And that lasted for a long time, many years. And then, I can't remember just how many, but eventually I had to have cortisone in it, and that worked a long time. And then that wore off and...
So cortisone, those were injections?
Yes, cortisone injections, yeah. And then my husband had a shoulder replacement.
Oh.
In I have to think about this. This is 24, 25, 24, 22, I think, 2022. And it just went perfectly smooth. And he says, why don't you get one? And I said, well, I'm way too old. That's not going to work on someone my age. And he said, well, it worked on me. And I said, okay. So I thought, okay, I'll try that. And I went to see a doctor, highly recommended here in Lethbridge. And I don't know what description to say here. They said that it could be done by Christmas. That was August I went in.
Did you have to get a referral from your doctor
Oh,
to
yes.
see this doctor?
Yeah, she had to refer. And I'd already had an x-ray. And so it was August of 2022. I think so, yeah. And yeah, they said it would be done by Christmas, if not a few weeks after Christmas. Well, that didn't happen. And then I got kind of a little impatient and nervous, and so I phoned in the middle of January, and I said, I think I'm on your list. And the nurse said, oh, yes, you're on our list, along with a lot of others. And I said, well, they thought I'd be in by now. And she says, well, you have to be patient. And okay. So then I went till August of that year, and still nothing. And so I phoned and talked to the doctor, and I know I sounded a little impatient because I was going around like this all the time, not being able to do anything. Right. I couldn't comb my hair. Everything was left-handed, and
you're right-handed. And
I'm right-handed, yeah. And for a woman not to be able to do her hair, not use a curling iron or anything, it was, you know.
Did you still have the farm?
Yes, we had moved to the farm by then, yeah. Or to Lethbridge, sorry.
You had left the farm.
Yeah.
So the farm work is behind you now.
Yeah, yeah.
But now you've got
21 years in Lethbridge and this. And so that was, we moved here in 2003. Yeah.
But you've still got garden work.
Oh, this is part of my problem. I'm a workaholic. I love working outside, and I do more than I should. I must think I'm 25 years old. I lift big rocks, I move things, I just overwork it. And anyways, then the next year, the August, I phoned again, and I suppose I sounded a little impatient. I was sorry about that. But they said to me, can you picture us? We have been unable to do these surgeries now for a year. There are no anesthetists in Lethbridge.
There we go.
That will go. The healthcare system said only hip replacements and knee replacements, no shoulder replacements. So that was discouraging, and I waited another year, and then at
So that's August 2024 then?
2023. And I waited another year.
August 2024.
And right after Christmas, well, maybe right at the end, middle between Christmas and New Year's, I got a phone call, and they gave me an appointment to see her. So that would be the beginning of January, yeah.
This year?
This year, yeah. And they said that they would be doing it in February. So it was a 2.5 year wait, yeah. And that part was hard. I'm impatient.
Well, and walking around with your arm held here.
Yeah.
I know even at swimming, you had to hold your arm and weren't able to swim with both arms and had to protect it.
And it was hard to get in the pool because you get on the ladder, both hands, and you have to get down, and it pushes pressure on this. So I was trying to use my right hand. I'm swinging around, and so finally I had to use the chair to go in and out of the pool.
Well, luckily they had that.
Yes, yes.
That's wonderful. Which pool is that?
Stan Seawick.
Yes.
And I've been going there probably for 6 years, and my shoulder has recovered very well. I put it down to that I was in good physical health and for my age, and that helped me.
Yes, I've heard it said that to prepare yourself for going into surgery, get in the best physical shape you can be so that your body has all those resources to heal you. So when was your surgery? You said February?
February 12th.
February 12th.
Yeah.
So you're beyond the 6 weeks after.
Yes.
And you're happy with the surgery.
Yes. Yes. It's coming along very well.
And can you tell us a little bit about what it was like just after the surgery?
I'm not a journal person, but I had written down a couple things, and I'd forgotten already how painful it was, and it was painful. I thought, well, this is just like childbirth. You feel like it's unbearable, but then when it's over, you kind of forget about it, and it was coming along really well. I had to have it in a sling for a month, and that was difficult because I want to get doing things. And so some days I'd take it out and then, oh no, it's supposed to be in a sling, and but I made it. And then at the 12-week point, they had me come in and said that rehabilitation would be starting. And I was very excited about that, and I went, and I'm a procrastinator. I was going to do those exercises every day, and I think I've done them 4 times. I am such a procrastinator. My husband has a lot of issues, health issues, and I just felt I was so busy. I'm very fortunate, though. It's coming along really well. I mean, I couldn't even get my arm up here at all.
Oh, look at that now.
I couldn't, I'd get it to there. There was no way I could lift it out here. I'm working on, and of course the pool helps, getting it behind my back.
Yes.
That one's still a tough one to get it back there. Mm-hmm. But every day I say, oh, I'm going to do my exercises today. I'm just a procrastinator, yeah. But I'm going to try and see the physiotherapist again this week, and he was awesome. He was surprised at what I could already do. He said, "You're coming along very well," and I said, "Yes, I think I am."
Was this at the hospital?
This was at the hospital, yeah. And he gave me a nice sheet, with all the movements I should do and whatnot, and quite a few of them I can do in the pool, so at least I'm doing them in the pool. And
well, that's very good.
That's good, yeah.
That's good. So how long did you stay in the hospital?
Well, you're supposed to go home the next day. And
after joint surgery,
yeah,
the next day.
Yeah, and they kept me another day. I was in a lot of pain, and they just felt that they should keep me in, and I was game for that. And then the next day it went all day, and finally at nighttime they let me come home. But the doctor said to me they had to do a lot of pulling and tugging. I don't understand what all that is, tendons and muscles, I suppose. And I was bruised from here up to my shoulder. And so I think that's probably where a lot of the pain came from, was that.
The pulling.
Yeah. But it's coming. And when I first saw her after the surgery, she said, "I apologize to you, but we had to do that." So I thought, well, that made me feel good. I thought, well, maybe I'm not the big wuss I thought I was.
That they had to do this pulling of the muscles and tendons and so on to stretch everything and make sure everything was in the right place.
I think so, yes.
Do you feel your shoulders are even now?
I can feel it. It's much smaller than this shoulder, and that had happened beforehand because I wasn't using it, and it just kind of deteriorated, and my muscles were off of it, and and I can feel it. It's gross in a way. I can feel the metal.
Oh, it's metal. It's
metal. Titanium. Yeah.
Titanium.
Yeah.
Oh, so you are a bionic woman.
Yes. Definitely that I can lift my arms up like that again. And
So do you have
Understand?
restrictions for a while on how much you can lift or what you should lift?
Yes, they told me nothing more than a pound of butter
A pound of butter.
for the first 4 weeks.
That for the first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then
After that,
6 weeks.
yeah. Well, she said maybe not more than 10 pounds.
And now what are you at? 6, 7 weeks? Are you
I
at
don't know. I don't think about it.
Okay.
I
But no big boulders in your yard now.
no.
No, you want Superwoman to come and do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet. So you've
Right.
still got to build up that strength.
Yes, I goofed the other day. My daughter was helping me move a large wrought iron patio furniture.
Yeah.
And I said to her, it's heavy. And she says, oh, I can move it. And then she, oh my gosh, she says, it is heavy. So I was helping her push, and I suffered for that the next few days. Yeah.
How did you suffer? What was the
My
suffer?
shoulder hurt.
It hurt.
You just want to hold it. And then when you go to bed, you can't get comfortable. And
Do you ice it then when you hurt it?
I try to, yeah. Ice is extremely important.
Yes.
And I think some days I was kind of sleeping so much, I'd forget that I need the ice. Yeah, you should be doing it for at least 2 weeks.
2 weeks
Icing
after you get home,
Yes.
you should be putting the ice on the shoulder.
Yeah, yeah.
And that helped a lot.
Oh yes, that helps. Yeah,
Took away the pain.
yes. And they gave me ibuprofen, Tylenol
Yes?
for pain, and I think that's Tylenol 650, and a few times I had to double it up. But yeah, I quit taking that, I'm sure, a month after. Yeah, well, maybe even 3 weeks, unless I'd used it or something, then I'd take some. Yeah.
So they didn't put you on any kind of opioids or morphine or anything like that,
no.
codeine?
No.
No. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes. She gave me a prescription for tramadol, which I guess is a type of opioid, but I never did take it. The Tylenol worked good.
Well, and I think when we get to a certain age, we think, I'm just not going to chance it with opioids.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. No, it's too great a risk. So this is pretty fabulous. I know how restricted your movements were when you were waiting those 2.5 years. And how do you feel your mental health was during the time you were waiting, and how is it now?
Well, probably my mental health wasn't the best because my husband has cancer and he has big issues every day. He needs caretaking quite a bit. And 2 of those months, 1.5 years ago, he was getting radiation at the foothills, and so we had to live in the foothills hostel for 2 months, and that that was stressful. You
Yes.
make your own meals, and
Being
not much to do, and
and being away from home and
yes,
worrying about your house. And
yeah. So that wasn't worrying about my shoulders so much, worrying about him.
So you had stress on top of stress.
Yes. Yes.
And what about the waiting 2.5 years? Like, how did that weigh on your mental health? Did that weigh
occasionally, yeah. I just tried to tell myself that's the way it is, and I talked to so many people who had to wait.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I'm no different than anybody else.
But it's interesting. I didn't know they had prioritized hip and knee
Yeah.
over shoulder, and that they actually weren't doing any of those operations for a year.
The doctor said it was very frustrating for them,
Yes.
very frustrating, because
Yes.
they were there, they were ready. They wouldn't let them do them. Yeah, but
Well, so they prioritized the anesthetists
the
for
few
other,
that they had, yeah.
the few that they had for the other operations.
Yeah, I think whatever like from August to the end of the year of the first year I was waiting, that was when Alberta Health did all the changes, and a lot of doctors left Lethbridge.
Yes.
And so they were very short, and so I realized, there's nothing they could do, that I just had to be patient.
And you still have your primary doctor.
Yes, yes.
So you're one of the lucky ones.
I really realized that. Yes, I've got so many friends who lost their doctors. Yeah, yeah. No, my doctor is still mine, and I don't have to wait very long for an appointment, and so that's good.
So when's your next appointment? Do you have to go again to see either your surgeon or your family doctor in regard to a checkup?
The surgeon said I could come back in a year if I wanted to.
In a year?
In a year, yeah.
Oh, so
She says it's healed very good.
all is good.
Yes.
All is good. And it's just physio now that you're working on?
Yes.
And you know that you've got to get a calendar with a star system or checks or something, and you give yourself a star after you've done your physio.
Yes, yes, I definitely do, yes.
Half a star for going to aqua jog.
Oh, yeah.
But now, how are you feeling mentally?
Well, pretty good. Mentally over this, I'm very good. It's just the stress in our house
Yes.
with my husband. But
Yes.
mentally, I feel good, and I'm just very busy. And now yard work is coming up, and I really want to work in my yard, and I know I shouldn't. So I'm having to look at all the mess and the weeds, and I would love to find somebody who we could pay to do some yard work, and just either got to put an ad in the paper or on Kijiji and find somebody.
And see if you can get a helper, so then you can do some of the light stuff.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
work along with them.
Yes.
Supervise and work
Yes.
alongside, and then slowly build up your strength
Yeah,
again.
that would be nice. We have 3 daughters that live within 2 hours, an hour and a half, and an hour, and they all have sons, young 20s. But I just can't believe the busy lifestyles these young people have today, and,
Yes.
and their mom and dads. It's just very busy. Yeah.
I find it's good, from my own personal experience, to try and hire someone from the neighborhood, a young kid and maybe someone in the summer who wants to earn some extra money, and they'll come and mow, and they'll help with weeding or digging.
Yeah, I haven't had luck with that. Haven't had luck with that. One year we phoned, what is this called? The
Volunteer.
The rehabilitation center out going on the jail road for addicts and alcoholics,
Yes,
and they have
right.
an excellent program there. And so we phoned to see if we could get someone to help us. And at that time, they let 2 people come and help us. I guess they don't like to do it all the time. They have pretty intense
programs.
program there, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was good, yeah.
Well, isn't that wonderful? I know Fifth on Fifth had a program for a while where people who wanted to work and earn a bit of extra money could put their name on a list, and you could phone Fifth on Fifth.
Yeah.
Well, Judy, this is a wonderful, miraculous story of waiting a long time, very patiently, 2.5 years. That's a long time, and finally getting your shoulder
Yes.
surgery.
And having it work.
And having it work, it just sounds like it was a real success.
Yes.
Well, I thank you for coming in and presenting your story and sharing your experience.
Thanks, Bev.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for asking me.
Thank you so much. So we talked to Judy about her successful shoulder operation. And she told us how now she's going to physiotherapy. So I thought I'd investigate a little bit about what the process was to get in to see a physiotherapist. You maybe remember the good old days when your family doctor would send in a request for physiotherapy and you would be called by them for an appointment. Those days are long gone. Now, in order to get an appointment at Chinook Regional Hospital for public physiotherapy clinic, there are only 2 ways, and both are difficult. The first way is you have to arrive before 8:30 a.m. on any of the days, Monday to Friday, and stand in line. When I spoke with the receptionists, they stressed, come early. In fact, it was underlined in bold, and I could even see flashing neon lights when they said, come in early, before 8:30, as it's first come, first served. Some people arrive as early as 7 o'clock in the morning or 7:30. Now, why would you come so early? Each day, there are only a few appointments for drop-ins, called slots. Your best chance is Mondays and Tuesdays, as there may be from 2 to 4 slots open. There may be fewer on subsequent days during the week, but it's always a gamble. As soon as the appointments are filled, the rest of the people in the line are told to return the next day. I wondered how people with severe physical disabilities were expected to stand in line waiting for an hour or two just to be turned away. After all, they're going to physiotherapy because there is something in need of being helped. How can you stand in line for all these hours? Here's where option number 2 appears. On Mondays, and Mondays only, one can phone in at exactly 8:45 a.m. You can phone 403-388-6093. If you don't get through the first time, or if you get a busy signal, I was advised to keep calling. Now you may be wondering who has these other appointments. It is those fortunate people who have been seen by a physiotherapist and have managed to make a following appointment for a return visit. I remember a few years ago, after I had broken my ankle sliding on our wonderful Lethbridge winter ice, I made an appointment in person and I saw a physiotherapist. I had 6 sessions to learn how to practice the exercises. Each week I went home with a sheet with new exercises, practiced and returned the following week. Now the patient, if they're lucky enough to get in, is given a sheet of exercises and instructions, but I wonder what would constitute the need for a subsequent appointment is unknown. So let's keep an eye on what is happening in physiotherapy. It's becoming more and more restrictive to get in to see a public physiotherapist. In the meanwhile, more and more private physiotherapy clinics are opening. Thank you.